So it's Thursday, 15th of August, 2024. It's just around 4:41 here in Queens. Not too hot, not too low. My focus this afternoon is to do with the WPA party with its co-leader, Dr. David HINDS, leading the party to next year's regional and general elections. When I saw the WPA, its slate, the other two co-leaders with Dr. HINDS are Takuma Ogunsia and Brother Rohit Kanai. If I could remember the other slate, remember these guys were appointed, they were not elected. That is what happens when you see you don't have money, you don't have delegates. That's when you see you don't have money. I always keep stating here, to take part in elections campaign, to run a campaign, you have to have money, you have to have donors. Anyhow, the chairman of the party, well-known teacher, Dion Abrams, organizing secretary, Kedaki Amsterdam, the owner of CAMS TV, administrative secretary, Desmond Trotman, who's an opposition GCOM commissioner, the overseas secretary for diaspora is Keith Branch. Those are some of the names that I could remember that will be running the show for the WPA. This comes to the complement of Demerara Waves, where they had a chat with Dr. HINDS. And what he's saying is that he's not ruling out collating with other political parties, but any collating with other political parties, the WPA will insist on a tight agreement that must include poverty eradication, rebalancing of wealth distribution, and constitutionally entrenched power sharing. According to Dr. HINDS, unlike the last time when we just went in and built a coalition, built the APNO at the expense of our party, this time around we are taking a different approach, that we are organizing, and if and when at that time comes to go into the coalition, that we are really taking something into the coalition rather than just a handshake or whatever. Dr. HINDS stressed that the WPA remains committed to coalition politics, even if it's with the People's National Congress, which is the major party in the APNO. As you all know, as I said in a previous video, the APNO, apparently, the APNO right now is without PNC leadership in the APNO. The APNO had their own elections. They said they invited the opposition leader AUBREY Norton. He did not turn up, and the APNO went ahead, and they have their own chairman and vice chairman. So that's another story. According to Dr. HINDS, he's saying we're going to make it difficult for any party to deal us a bad hand now, because we are doing what we didn't do the last time, and made it easy for people to deal us a bad hand, he said. After the APNU Alliance for Change defeated the March 2020 elections, the WPA had exit APNO, saying that it was denied the right to choose its parliamentary representative, sidelined from shaping an agreement to policies as well as infrequent meetings. He acknowledged that in coalition politics, the big parties seek to dominate the small parties, and that's a fact. He also went on to say the party's key message will be poverty alleviation, direct cash transfers of oil revenue to ordinary Guyanese, and an end to winner-take-all politics in Guyana. We feel that it is the most critical issue, and if we are part of government, we are going to be pressing forcefully for the government to move towards abolishing winner-take-all politics, he said. He acknowledged that the support of the PPP is needed, and he knows that at present the PPP shows no inclination of going in that direction. Ideally, we would like an end to winner-take-all politics, but it doesn't happen before election. Whether we are part of the government or we are part of the opposition, we intend to make that issue front and center, he said. So, the distribution of the resources that we have now is not reaching the ordinary people, according to Dr. HINDS. We want to add that dimension about the general distribution of wealth and pay attention to small businesses and empowering small businesses, not through handouts, but through policy. Anyhow, the WPA, its leader Walter Rodney, was killed in a car, if I could remember that day, June the 13th, 1980. A bomb went off in that car, killing Dr. Walter Rodney. I could recall on that morning in Queenstown, Georgetown, I was going to buy something for my uncle in the shop. I had no knowledge about this bomb killing Dr. Rodney. A Portuguese lady, I could remember that vividly, held on to me and said, son, they killed Dr. Rodney, they killed Dr. Rodney. Of course, I knew who he was, and I was shocked. Yes, I could remember I was shocked. I could not believe what she was telling me. And I guess a lot of people were probably shocked. I would like to ask people around my age, could you remember where you were on June the 13th, 1980, when Dr. Walter Rodney was killed? Could any of you remember where you were? The first meeting, the first political party rally I ever attended was the WPA. Yes, I said it. Even though my relatives would have been PNC supporters, that is the first rally I ever attended as a youth, a WPA political rally on the Merriman's Mall. So let me go back a bit further. I was 17 years plus. I had a group of friends who were older than me. I think around that time I would call myself the baby. I was the baby of the bunch. Yeah, some of those guys were 21, 22, they were much older than me. And we were going to part-time classes in the evening. At that time at 17 plus, I had no interest in politics. I was a bit naive. So it was a case of just following the leader. Most of my relatives were already in the United States of America, and I was already living a life as a bachelor in Guyana. So I would try to attach myself to my close friends. Wherever they were going, I would go with them. So I can remember that particular evening, they said we were going to some place in Brickdam. So when we got into the building in Brickdam, I don't know what conversation took place up in front of me. All I was told is that we have to get out of this building now. We have to evacuate this building right now. So we all hurried out. Mind you, I at that time didn't have a clue as to what was going on. Later I learned that my friends were actually following the WPA. There was supposed to be a meeting in that building that night, a WPA meeting. But apparently somebody alerted them that, look, the police are on the way to raid the building, and you guys have to get out of there right now. It's later on I later realized what is really going on. So I could remember attending my first WPA meeting on the Merriman's Mall. Dr. Walter Rodney, charismatic speaker, attracted big crowds to the Merriman's Mall on that Border Green. I could remember when I looked around to see the type of people who were at that rally. Yes, they were Afro-Guyanese, and they were also Indo-Guyanese. Not to say 3, 4, 5 Indo-Guyanese. I use the term a whole set of Indo-Guyanese were among Afro-Guyanese listening to Dr. Walter Rodney. Now, the thing of it now, maybe those Indo-Guyanese were not supporters of the WPA, but something about Walter Rodney that attracted them to coming out to hear what he was saying. And I would even dare say that the Indo turnout at that rally was almost equal to the turnout of the Afros. Obviously, the Afros were more, but the Indo-Guyanese were out in full force there too. And that is one of my first rallies that I attended. It is one of my first look in terms of seeing how people from different races, especially the majority race Indo and Afro-Guyanese, came out to listen to the, and so with my friends I would keep going to those WPA rallies. After Dr. Rodney was killed, I think I lost interest in WPA, and to me the party, like it lost its way somewhere along the line. I guess even the morning period and probably rudderless leadership. And I would admit now that the WPA around that time is not the WPA of today. The WPA around that time, as a centennial, to me it was a more multi-ethnic party as compared to now. I think it's more Afrocentric right now. Let me add, David HINDS is going to be leading them as a presidential candidate for next year's elections. I saw on Rod Johnson's Facebook page, he was questioning whether Dr. HINDS is an American citizen in terms of sitting in Parliament. Rod Johnson said he got a reply from Dr. HINDS saying that he has he's renounced his American citizenship and he's just apparently just a green card holder. So that is out of the way. So it's going to be Dr. HINDS, as I said, Rod Kanai, as well as Takuma, and those are the three who are running the WP in terms of leadership. The elders, if I could remember, the elders are all doctors: Morris Olo, Clive Thomas, and Rupert Rupnarain. Those are the three elders. I guess they'll be giving advice. Yeah, so coming right back to the WPA, they are saying that every single day, I think even on Sundays, Dr. HINDS holds a program on the social media Politics 101. The WPA is saying that from the amount of people who are following that program, they believe the followers can be translated into votes. And that's the reason why they decide that they're going to enter the elections come next year. So I'm making a comparison to one C.N. Sharma. How many of you could remember C.N. Sharma holding his Justice for All program? Sharma thought the same thing too. Sharma had a very popular program. People calling, yes, Mr. Sharma, yes, we're going to vote for you. We like what you're doing, Mr. Sharma. Keep up, you're doing a good job. Keep up the good work. And when elections came, Justice for All Party could not even have gotten a seat in Parliament. The Prime Ministerial candidate at that time was Clem David. I could remember I had a female friend living on Regent Street. And she showed me the building next to her where Clem David was living on Regent Street. I could remember when the results came out. The Dem Boys article in Criteria News was saying that when Dem Boys checked to see how much votes the Justice for All Party got in that part of Regent Street, I want to read the PSU was the polling center. The Justice for All Party received 0 votes. That is where Clem David was supposed to be voting in that area. 0 votes. So they were making jokes off of C.N. Sharma saying, man, even your own Prime Minister candidate, Clem David, didn't vote for you. He probably voted for the PNC. That was a big laugh I can remember back in the day. Anyhow, so I would want to wager that most of the Afro-Guyanese who are following David HINDS are PNC supporters. So come voting day next year, would those Afro-Guyanese forget about the PNC and vote for WPA? So that is why my title is going to be entitled for this video. Afro-Guyanese are going to be splitting the votes between mostly the PNC, then the AFC, and then the WPA. That's how I see this is going to come down. I don't see much East Indians voting for the WPA. I don't know about the AFC. I want to believe a lot of East Indians who supported the AFC that I supported twice. A lot of them have gone home back to the PPP, or they might just decide to stay home. So let's see how this is going to play out. But like I said, to mount an efficient political campaign, you have to have financial donors. Financial donors translate to money. There you're able to go and speak in the all 10 regions of Guyana. You can hold your political events. You have to buy jerseys. You have to buy caps. It's not easy. And Dr. HINDS has already said that they're working on a shoestring budget. So that in terms of money, that can be a big disadvantage if you don't have enough money to spend to go campaigning. I would not be surprised to see that they do not contest all 10 regional elections. So that's the WPA. I know a lot of people will be thinking about the 2010 remarks that was made by Dr. HINDS. I know that a lot of people will be speaking about AFC, saying that the Russians came to Guyana to interfere with the elections. Yes, I know. That is why I would like to plead with Nigel, come out and make an apology on behalf of AFC supporters like myself who wanted you to hold both parties accountable, instead of just siding, allowing one party to overrule you, and you guys just decided to remain silent just not to disrupt the coalition. The Prime Minister, Mark Phillips, has a lot of responsibilities as a Prime Minister compared to the days of Moses Nagamutu. The PNC sideline through Joe Harman took away a lot of responsibilities from Moses Nagamutu. Nagamutu's portfolio was reduced as a Prime Minister. Harman was the strong man, Grinder's right-hand man for the coalition. Look at the remote responsibilities that Mark Phillips has right now as compared to the days of Moses Nagamutu. I guess that's politics. And that's my take on the WPA. I voted for the WPA once, and then when we started going to UG, some of us met Mr. Paul Tennessee, DLM party. I guess at the time we were radicals, and we listened to Paul Tennessee on a couple of occasions, and we decided to vote for DLM. So I voted for quite a few parties in Guyana. So I would like to tell people, don't look at a black person and say, well, you know what, that black person has voted for one party. I should say Afro-Guyanese, voted for one party all the days of his life, PNC. I voted for the first party I ever voted for, even though my relatives were PNC. I voted for WPA. I voted for, with my other friends, when we were going to UG, DLM, that's Paul Tennessee's party. Even to when CNN Sharma was thinking, I voted for Sharma's party. Just hoping that he would have gotten a seat in Parliament to hold the governments them accountable. And of course, the AFC. So I have voted for a number of parties in my lifetime in Guyana. But sad to say, if I'm living in Guyana right now, I don't think I'd vote for any one of those parties. All of them are very, it's a disappointment, all of them. Sure, if you have business and you see that you're doing good under the PPP, like the Guyanese critic, fine, because Guyanese critic would tell you under the coalition, he wasn't making progress. Under the PPP, he started making progress. I could understand that, because he said that the PPP gave you opportunities and chances for you to invest in business or whatever. So that's a different story, but I'm not into business. I'm just an ordinary person. So I don't have no interest in voting for any party. Even here in the United States at this moment, people are asking me who I'm going to vote for. I don't even think I'm going to vote here in the United States. That's my personal take. We all have freedom of expression to do what we like, whenever, and of course within limitations. So until next week, enjoy the rest of your Thursday. Royal Green here, out.